Welcome to another session of Java threads. So in this demonstration we will see the thread states. So this is a Java program to demonstrate thread states. So first of all, we have a class called Java class thread which implements the runnable interface, and we have the run method, public void run, and we have a try catch block, and inside that we have thread.sleep, and next we have some code here. And the main class is the Java threads demo, which implements the runnable interface. And inside the main method, just like this, we create an instance and we create a new thread by passing the runnable object. So the thread creation part is covered during previous sessions, and the OOP part is covered in the previous course, which is object oriented programming. And here we have created thread 1, and thread 1 created, and it is currently in the new state. So there's a state called new. In the new state, so you create the state of the thread 1 after creating it, and make sure it is before the start method. So we have created the thread, but we have not started it. So if we put thread.getState, we'll get new, and next we start the thread, and after that after calling the start method, we again print the state of the thread. So you can see we have thread 1 here, which is the new thread, thread 1 here, which is the new thread, and next we have public void run. So in the first part, let's run and see the first outputs, these two. So before start it says new, and after start it is in the runnable state. So let's rename this as my thread. So we'll rename this class as my thread, which implements runnable, and we have the run method. Inside the run method you have the sleep and the visual code, and inside the main class Java threads demo, so we create a new thread and print the state, so which is new, and once it is started we can see we got it as runnable. So if we run it again, new and runnable. So next so this is the next one, which is printed is state of the thread 2 after calling the sleep method on it. So state of the thread 2 after calling the sleep method on it. So we invoke the sleep method. We start this thread. We create the thread 2 just in the same way, and we start it. So you can see state of thread 1 after creating it, before start it's new. State of thread 1 after calling the start method, it's runnable. And state of thread 2 after creating it, so from this line, state of thread 2 after creating it, so obviously it's new. And once the thread is started, the state is runnable. And next we call the thread.sleep. Once the thread.sleep is invoked, so the state is state of thread 2 after calling the sleep method on it. So this, after that it is timed waiting. You can see the output timed waiting. State of thread 1 while it called the join method. So now you can see next the join method is invoked. So the thread 2 will be executed, and therefore in that case thread 1 while executing thread 2, the state of thread 1 is waiting. State of thread 1 while it called the join method on thread 2, it is waiting. So this is an important tricky point. So you can see when the join method is invoked, thread 2 will finish the execution. So while thread 2 continues the execution while it finish, the thread 1 is in the waiting state. So you can see thread 1 is in the waiting state. So while the thread 2 is executed, we print the state of thread 1 while it called the join method on thread 2. So thread 1 state is waiting, so it is printed here. So you can spend time looking at these, or you can revise, you can watch this video again, you can pause and have a look at the code, and also you can write this code and execute line by line and post this video. So it is recommended to follow that process in order to get a clear understanding. So you can see the waiting state. And finally, when the join method is invoked on thread 2 finishes its execution, and after that the state of thread 2, when it has finished its execution, the state is terminated. So this is the terminated state. So when the join is invoked, thread 2 will finish its execution. Till the thread 2 finishes its execution, thread 1 will be in the waiting state. So we got the output. So we proved it. And once the thread 2 finishes the execution, thread 2 will go to the terminated state. So I'll explain this again as a summary. When the thread 2 has the join method, so the thread 2.join is executed, thread 2 will get the chance to execute till it finishes the execution. Till that time, the other thread, which is thread 1, is in the waiting state. So it allows thread 2 to finish the execution. So once the execution is finished, thread 2 will be in the terminated state. So you can see this in the demonstration. So if we debug this example, so you can see state of thread 1 after creating it before the start, the state is new. Once the start method is invoked, let's see the state, it is runnable. And thread 2 after creating it, the state is new. State of thread 2 after calling the start method on it is runnable, and state of thread 1 while it called join method on thread 2, it is timed waiting. State of thread 2 after calling the sleep method on it, it is so you can see the thread scheduler decides its execution. So when you have debug mode, it takes the time. So if we run this again in the normal mode, before the start, it's new. Once the start method is called, it is in the runnable state. The state of thread 2 after creating, it is new as obviously. State of thread 2 after calling the start method on it, runnable, yes, up to this state you are very clear. And state of thread 2 after calling sleep method on it. So once you create the sleep, invoke the sleep method, the state is timed waiting. A state of thread 1, while it called the join method on thread 2, it is waiting. So when you have the sleep method with a specific time, it is timed waiting. And state of thread 1, while it called the join method on thread 2, so it allows the thread 2 to finish the execution. Till that time, thread 1 is in the waiting state. And once the thread 2 finishes the execution, it is in the terminated state. So this is the complete demonstration. So this is the available code which you can try. So this is the public class Java Threads demo, which implements the Runnable. That is the end of the demonstration.